I'm Ed Breitmeyer from the Corn Marketing Program of Michigan. We're here in a cornfield near Harbin, China, in northeastern China. I'm participating in the 16th annual U.S. Grains Council corn tour. During September, the U.S. Grains Council sends out several teams in this northeastern region to estimate China's corn crop. We go into the northeastern region, which is China's best area. We are actually taking 2 samples in each field, where the samples are 5 meters long. We count the number of ears in that 5 meters, then we go through and we count rows around, and we also count kernels long. We're going to use that data to estimate the crop. This is our second field this morning. We have been looking at the populations. The first field this morning, we saw that the populations were probably about 18,000 when we did some calculations. It seemed like the fields yesterday were a little higher, maybe 21, 22. We might even see a field that was as much as 25. The farmers here are pretty hesitant to take some risk, and we talked about that. When they plant more plants to the acre, if it gets dry, they could have a very poor crop, so they're very hesitant to do that. The amount of corn here is phenomenal, and the very fact that it's all going to be harvested with small machines or by hand is unbelievable. In the last few days, we've been talking about different problems that farmers have. The farmers that we talked to, they talked about how some of their field was washed away because of heavy rains. They talked about also how they had problems when they were planting. It was either too wet or too dry. It's the fact that, if they plant higher populations, it's more inputs and more risk for them. Basically, the same problems that farmers experience in the U.S. are the same things that the Chinese farmer experiences. And we can go on and talk about even when they harvest, how they have problems getting everything harvested, especially here because everything's got to be done by hand. So really, it's not much different than the U.S. other than we have bigger fields, they have smaller fields, but the risk is still the same and all the problems are still the same.
We've just concluded our 16th annual China Corn Crop Tour, coordinated by the U.S. Grains Council. Participation in the corn tour has been increasing every year, and this year we had over 30 participants in both the North China and the Northeast China components, which I'm very happy about. And we sent out several teams in both regions to assess crop production. The crop this year looks very good. Sown area went up. This is mostly at the expense of soybeans, where sown area went down in Northeast China, and cotton in North China, cotton area went down and corn area went up. The only real big competing crop is peanuts, whose area went up, and that mitigated a little bit of the corn area expansion from the fall in soybean and cotton area. Yields this year look pretty good. At the beginning of the year, they were looking very good. There were some pestilence issues, but not very much effect at all. Some weather issues with wet weather in the north, a big typhoon in the northeast, and some dry weather early in the growing season in the north, and that affected yields in some areas. But overall, the yields are looking better than last year, and with the area increase and the yield increase, we see a good increase in production this year.